Our
Our
Father,
Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Thy kingdom come, thy will be done.
on earth as it is in heaven.
Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation,
To deliver us from evil. For thine is the
the
kingdom.
kingdom, the power, and the glory, forever and ever. Amen.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
All right, good evening, everybody. We will start with item D, the swearing in of patrol officers Jaden Falke and Marcus Hennig. If you two would like to come up, feel free. You can bring your family members up if they're here with you as well.
Already here. So you get to up front and center here. Okay, raise your right hand, please, and repeat after me. I state your name.
I, Jaden,
Do solemnly swear
solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and the charter and ordinances
and the charter ordinances
and resolutions of the city of Napoleon, Ohio,
and resolutions of the city of Napoleon, Ohio,
and the laws of the state of Ohio,
and the state of Ohio,
and faithfully discharge and perform
and discharge and perform
all duties incumbent upon me
all duties upon me
as a patrolman of the city of Napoleon, Ohio,
and patrolman of the city of Napoleon, Ohio,
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
according to the best of my ability and understanding.
Okay, great. You can say a little bit about yourselves, and then if the chief wants to join in.
First I just say, originally from Wasion, moved here a couple years ago. Always been interested in a career in law enforcement. I joined the Marine Corps first, and then started my journey here. I just graduated. I haven't done my graduation yet, but I finished with the police academy entirely.
Congratulations today.
Oh, I did, yes.
All right, congratulations. Nice.
Hi, my name is Marcus Hennig. I grew up in Monclova. I really had a lot of outdoor activities when I was growing up, and so and that kind of switched into more computer or video editing and small little jobs here and there. Didn't really have much passion in those jobs, so I wanted something more of a career, something more that I enjoyed. So had family and friends point me in the direction of law enforcement. So 8 months later, got through the academy, and here I am. So thank you all for your time and everything, and appreciate it.
We do kids.
We're very excited for both of these young men to get started with us. They're fantastic candidates, a couple of the better that I've seen since I've been part of the process. They both demonstrated really excellent work ethic, positive attitudes, and just very excited to see where their careers will take them, and welcome to the police department.
Thank you.
Come stay up there.
And who do you have pitting these on for you?
This is my mother.
Nice to meet you.
That's my girlfriend, Grace.
Nice to meet you. All right, unless you guys don't have a 15-minute speech or anything, I just have paper for you to sign. Come up here. Have a seat. Head that way, and we'll all congratulate you there.
Congratulations.
Well done.
Thank you, sir. Thank you. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. Thank you, sir. Thank you so much. I appreciate it. Congratulations. Thank you so much. Glad to have you. Congratulations. Thank you. Thank you so much.
All right, so with that, we'll move to item E, the approval of minutes. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the minutes shall stand approved from the May 5th, 2025 regular council meeting. Hearing none, they will stand approved. Item F is citizen communication. If there's anyone in attendance that would like to address council on any subject that is not on the agenda tonight, now would be the time to do so. We're hearing none. Item G is reports from council committees. G1, the electric committee did not meet on May 12th, 2025 due to being canceled by the chair. G2, the water, sewer, refuse, recycling, and litter committee met on May 12th, 2025. And Mr. Hayes.
We decided there's a letter, I believe, a notice for the settlement of a complaint that was filed by a citizen.
Item G3, the Municipal Properties Building Land Use and Economic Development Committee did not meet on May 12th, 2025 due to lack of agenda items. G4, the Parks and Recreation Commission did not meet earlier tonight due to lack of agenda items. Item I, introduction of new ordinances and resolutions. I1 is resolution number 019-25, a resolution authorizing the transfer of certain property to wit, approximately 15.705 acres, more or less, of real property, parcel number 41-110048.0000, owned by the city of Napoleon, to the Community Improvement Corporation of Henry County, Ohio, and declaring an emergency. Do we have a motion?
Motion.
Second?
Thank you. Jay?
Yes, this is the property that's located at 1602 Glenwood Avenue. It was originally purchased several years ago for a potential site for a new water plant. At that time, it was determined that the cost to build new was going to be 1.5 to twice the cost of rehabbing our existing plant. So we went forward and rehabbed the existing plant. We then utilized a portion of the property to relocate a pump station that had to be replaced. The remaining property has sat vacant since. At one time, there was consideration of building a road through that portion over to Scott Street. However, with the upcoming rehabilitation of Route 24, the underpass area that we owned was split off and sold to the state of Ohio to make it better able for them to do the rehabilitation on US 24. With that, the city no longer has a purpose for this property, so this legislation would allow us to transfer it to the CIC for potential sale.
Thank you, Jeff. Yep. Any questions or comments from council? Hearing none. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
All right, now we'll move to second read. Item J is second reading of ordinances and resolutions. J1 is resolution number 018-25, a resolution authorizing a community reinvestment area agreement with Woodland Custom Home within Napoleon CRA number 7 and declaring an emergency. Do we have a motion here?
Motion.
I'll second.
Thank you. Chad?
No changes to this. This is the CRA agreement with Custom Home, a Woodland Custom Home for 3 lots on Hudson Street. They'll build 3 residential family houses out there, but no changes since first read.
Thank you again. Anything from council? Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Now we'll move to third read. So will we. Item K is third reading of ordinances and resolutions. There are none this evening. Item L, good of the city. L1 is discussion or action, the approval of the power supply cost adjustment factor for May 2025. SPSCA 3-month average factor 0.01585 and JV2 0.043782. Chad, anything with this?
Kevin was gonna handle this one.
Thank you, Council President. Thank you, Chad. This is just in line with typical May pricing. There's really nothing more that's skewing these numbers. It's a little bit below the last 2 Mays that we had, so I would ask that council just motion to approve.
Thank you, Kevin. Without any questions or comments from council, I would take a motion to approve.
I'll motion.
Second.
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
That has been approved. Item L2, discussion or action, the approval of the plans and specifications for the pool and golf course storage building. Chad?
Yes, the Parks and Recreation Director, Tony Cotter's here. I'll let him talk about his proposed building.
Hey, Tony.
This item was in the 2025 budget. Essentially what we're doing is asking for approval of plans and specifications so we can bid 40 by 100 building that will be located just west of the pool and catty corner from the backside of the clubhouse. Building will be utilized for storage of miscellaneous pool and golf course items, many of which are outside, especially golf course items. So I believe this is the best area we have. We have to put this building in. So again, base bid on this is $4,500.
Okay. Thank you, Tony. Thank you, Chad. Anything from council?
Tony, what did the bid come in at? Are we at 160?
The engineer's estimate is at 160, so we're well bid.
Yeah.
Okay, so we haven't bid it yet.
Yeah.
Right, this is approval of the specifications. It's a design-build project.
Okay.
So we will advertise this later this week, and then we'll receive bids probably in 3 or 4 weeks. And then we'll bring those bids back to council with a recommendation. I know Tony worked on this quite a bit with the former city manager, Andy Small, and I tried to help where I could. There's been several iterations of this building trying to get it to within what we believe will be within their approved budget number.
So what we're hoping for is if we get successful bids, we'll wait till the golf season ends. So we would not ask for the building to start being put up until November, after completion date, 2026.
Okay, do we have a motion to approve the specifications?
Motion. Second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
That has been approved. Thank you, Tony. L3 is discussion or action, direct the law director to draft the appropriate legislation to permit the Ohio Department of Transportation to rehabilitate US 624 and complete bridge repairs. ODOT PID 110524, PIN US 6-24 11.32/4.62 inside the City of Napoleon Corporation limits.
Yes.
That's a doozy. Chad, what you got on that?
This came in late last week. I apologize for not getting anything in your packet regarding this, but this showed up from ODOT. As I mentioned, they're going to do some rehabilitation on US 6 and 24. They have several bridge replacements, including the one over the property we used to own there where Foster's had that drive-through there, and then that rail crossing. The limits of the project are from Route 6 out near Westmoreland to the Route 6 River Bridge. Anytime ODOT wants to work within the city's corporation limits, they require legislation from the local municipality, and with their rules, they basically send us what they want and we have to follow their form. But they requested this. They're hoping to have it in their hands, I believe, by September 1st. So we're just asking that you direct the law director to draft this legislation, which would allow them to do the work on the portions in the corporation limits.
Thank you, Chad. Questions, thoughts from council?
There will be no cost to the city on this project.
Do you have a motion to direct the law director?
So, second.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Davis?
Item L4, discussion or action for the purchase of a fire truck. We need a motion to untable this before we continue discussion.
So moved.
Second?
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
All right, that has been untabled. Who would like the floor?
I'm like a bad penny, I keep coming back.
Welcome back, Chief.
So after tabling, last meeting, the finance director and I had some work to do. Since that time, I have met with 2 of the 3 townships and Billy had some work to do too, and he did outstanding at it. I do have 2 of the townships signed addendums. Number 2 for putting their money up front is Napoleon Township is not here tonight, but I do have a verbal that they are going to sign theirs tomorrow. Tomorrow is their meeting, so I have that from Kevin Gherkin, that they will sign it for their contributions. So the only thing we would be financing would be the $650,000, or if we decided to do a budget adjustment out of the 242 capital equipment account, then it would be $550,000, which that money is setting, that's not coming out of the 400 capital fund. That would be out of the 242 equipment fund. Other than that, nothing has changed in the specs. With the council president sending out the list of questions he had, and I sent them out to you, my responses. Does anybody have any questions or concerns with those responses that I could shed more light on?
I really appreciate it all the time you put into really dissecting the need there. And for those of us that aren't on the Safety and Human Resource Committee, I think it's nice to get the full picture for us, and I think you did a great job of doing so. So, very thankful for you, for your time in that. You answered all my questions in that email, so I'm good. If we can we make those questions available? So we know, Billy?
Oh, absolutely, you can.
Yeah. I
Can
think
we
that'd be.
incorporate them into the minutes?
There's the clerk over there, what's this? I imagine that we could, I wouldn't be able to point to the specific rule off the top of my head, but I think so.
If nothing else, if that's not something we can do, if we do move to the process of having legislation drafted, we could include it in the next council packet.
Okay.
Council President, if I could have a moment with your
Please.
time about this. So what I did is I reached out to a company called Squire Patton Boggs, who we have done work with before, and they would be the bonding company that we would want to use to work through the process of obtaining our debt. We last used them back in 2020, 2021, when we refinanced the water fund and the pool debt. So they're familiar with Napoleon, they're familiar with the process. And so that we would want to hire them to walk us through this process of getting the debt with that. In talking with them, and then the leasing option, which is not a bad idea, does not count towards our debt limit. If we do what's called private placement, which I would advise us to do because it would be cheaper, then it would count towards our debt limit. As a city, we are only allowed to have so much debt. It's a percentage, but I'm being told by Squire Patton Boggs that we are well below our debt limit that we can have. Makes me nervous because I could tell you that we have over $11 million in debt in general operations and revenue bonds, but I'm also being assured by the experts that we are in good shape with that. There's a question on whether we can go 10 years. If we go private placement, we can only go 10 years. If we go lease, it's believed that we could possibly go 15, and I have to get clarification for that. But again, I am stating that we should probably go private placement just because the interest rate would be far less than what we're going to pay. So there's going to be a cost for issuance to have Squire Patton Boggs and the company called Cena, who does help us get our debt. We've worked with them before. We had to pay them to get the process. I would picture this as a closing cost for a mortgage that you have to do some of that work. So we will have a little bit of cost to that. It would be estimated could be up towards $30,000, but if you're, depending on how much you're going to loan out, and the loan out price was over $1 million, which we're looking at is going to be less than that. So we need to tone into how much we're going to have to put down. We're going to tone in on how much we're going to finance, and we could get there. We can get there. Because right now we have June 1st as a date that possibly the truck could increase 2.5% to 3.5%. So once we pass that date, we could find out more, tune into that. If we get the agendas or addendums about the townships paying that we're going to pay as a principal, those are positive signs that yes, for sure, we're going to get the money for that. And then there was some discussion about instead of putting $250,000 down, I would encourage this is to go to $350,000 if council would like to. So that's another $100,000 that in the fire equipment fund could go towards the truck, which then again we would be less money you borrow, the less you got to pay in interest, the cheaper your payment's going to be too with that. So I think we're in good shape with that. The other thing that's going to take place, and I'm not telling you to do one thing or another, is if you go one read and suspend the rules and purchase from that, that's the sooner they can go to the market. If you go 3 reads, again, I'm not going to encourage you one way or another, then they can't go to market for another 30 days. And what I mean by go to market, if they go today, it could be, say, 4%. If you go out another 30 to 45 days, it could be 3.5%, it could be 4.25%. I don't know that. So there are a little bit of variables with this, but we're getting within range of what we want to do. So my suggestion would be, and I can answer any questions that you would like, if we want to continue with the purchasing of the truck, which I would encourage us to do, is I would ask to have the law director to enact legislation for the next meeting. And Billy and I talked about this, that Squire Patton Boggs would certainly help us with that process too. But I would also, I'll just mention that I think that we should make a decision on do we want to do $250,000 or $350,000 for a down payment. And I would just throw out suggestions. You guys could discuss that here possibly, and if I'm wrong, Billy, please correct me.
So far, so good.
Or you could refer that to the Finance and Budget Committee meeting, but I'm afraid if you do that, it might just prolong this process some more. Sure. I would just say this, that the 242 fund has an unencumbered balance of $547,000. So my advice would be to go to 350, we would be still okay with that fund. Chief, do you have anything that I can help you with?
Nope, I heard law director draft legislation, so I'm going to add to that. I'm going to ask that you direct me to draft the addendum that I've already drafted and is already being circulated. I was trying not to get in the way. I wanted things to move. So I put together a quick addendum that basically locks in the township's contribution and protects the city at the same time as far as ownership and various other things that needed to be stated. But that's drafted and ready, and it's handed off, and it's being circulated. I would just ask that you direct me to draft that thing that's already done.
Okay. Thank you all, appreciate that. So we need to make a final determination on the initial down payment, whether it's gonna be 250 versus 350. I agree with what Councilman Weitzel said last meeting. I think if we can up that down payment to 350, like the finance director said this evening, it's less that we have to finance and less on our debt book. So I would be in favor of doing that. That's my personal opinion, but I'm open for any discussion.
I agree. I feel like putting the extra owner down is gonna be more beneficial in the long run.
Okay.
Want a motion on just that?
Yeah, that was my question.
So
Should we make a
I
motion
guess
or
my
just
suggested
that?
motion would be to direct the law director to draft the appropriate funding, financing legislation in conjunction with Squire Patton Boggs, pursuant to the finance director's recommendations. That'll be the first one. And then the second one would be to direct the law director to draft an addendum to the fire contracts with the townships.
Ms. Clark, I'm gonna assume that you
It's
got all of
recorded,
that on
so
record.
okay.
Would anyone like to make a motion on that first recommendation from our law director?
Motion.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
And would anyone like to make a motion on our law director's second recommendation?
Motion.
Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany?
Yes.
Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Chief.
Thank you.
All right, item M, we will go around the table. Kevin, I'll start with you this evening.
I appreciate our firemen coming and showing up in the support, but I also appreciate them, what they had to deal with this past weekend with the fire on East Main Street. So, great job of containing it and doing everything that you could to make sure everyone was safe for that. So, that's all I have.
Go. Tom.
Agree with Kevin's comments. Thank you.
Dr. Dave.
I agree with all the guys.
Brittany.
I'm gonna steal Kevin's as well. Thank you.
Mr. Mayor.
We received a letter from the American Legion, Bert G. Taylor Post 300, inviting the council members to join them in observing Memorial Day here in Napoleon. On Monday, they're going to have a their event that they have every year. It starts at 10 o'clock, and this year they're going to do something a little bit different. They're going to start on the river bridge at 10 a.m., where they will they'll recognize the people that lost their lives at sea, and they'll throw a wreath there in the river, and then they'll proceed to the Henry County War Memorial for the main service, and they are asking how many of us are planning to attend. I'll just let you know, if you haven't attended this, I mean, I look forward to this. I used to look forward to, cooking out burgers and hot dogs and golf and other things on Memorial Day. I've attended this 8 years in a row now, and I would never miss it. It's awesome. So if you guys have time, please come out and join. Just let me know by the end of the meeting if you think you're going to attend from council, and obviously anyone else that can come out, you're welcome to join. Also, I want to thank Marissa for being our acting clerk. She's doing probably triple duty right now with Michaela leaving. So thank you for everything you're doing, and I know your new city manager is on vacation, so you're doing a lot of things, so thank you very much. And also what Kevin said about the fire this weekend, thank you all for your service, everything you do, and the Ridgeville Liberty Center, Malinta, Hamler, and McClure Fire Departments for supporting us in that. That's all I have.
Mr. Hayes?
I think everything's been covered.
Mr. Weiss?
Nothing for me.
Jordan?
Yeah, echo what Kevin said. The work that Chief and your team have done to inform us on everything with this fire truck and the patience, on getting us to understand why and how and when. Just appreciate all that. It made it a lot easier on us. So thank you for all of that.
Billy?
Nothing additional, thank you.
Chad?
I do want to mention too, with Chief Bowen and your staff, I'm very aware of how much time that can take, and it's a lot. So, nice job, and there's light at the end of the tunnel. One thing I did want to mention, late last week, the electric department sent 4 of our guys and 2 trucks to Lansing, Michigan for mutual aid. I'm not certain how long they're gonna be up there, but we'll continue to monitor that. Just keep everyone in your thoughts. Lori is out until, through Friday, May 23rd. She'll be back, just in time for a holiday, so there you go. But that's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you, Chad. I just want to thank Chad for being here tonight, filling in for us. I'll echo again what the mayor said. All of his comments are there. Outside of that, there were no executive sessions requested, so we will move to item N, approve payment of bills and financial reports. In the absence of any objections or corrections, the payment of bills and financial reports shall
I
stand
have a
approved.
question.
Yes, sir.
On page 3, there was a $29,000 payment for a sewer backup.
Yes, we had a storm event in February. There was a resident on Jan's Road who, a part of their house was connected to that sanitary sewer. It was discovered that the city's main was plugged up. We flooded their basement with the unfriendly type of sewer water. We have been working with them for several months now. They received several quotes to repair the basement. We reimbursed the cleaning costs as well as the lowest quote they received. And I appreciate their patience with us to work through that process. We did take off the amount that their insurance covered, and I can tell you, I know the total cost is not quite double what we're covering, but it's close.
That's it.
Good question.
All right, the payment of bills will stand approved. Is there a motion for adjournment?
Second?
Thank you. Marissa, please call the roll.
Brittany? Yes. Ross?
Yes.
Ken?
Yes.
Bobby?
Yes.
Jordan?
Yes.
Tom?
Yes.
Dr. Dave?
All right, everybody, we are adjourned. Thank you.